Welcome to another episode of Grateful by Lady Law. In these episodes, I get the opportunity to interview people that are important to me, my friends, my mentors, loved ones. And today I have the special opportunity of interviewing attorney Justin High. Justin is a personal injury attorney. Would you call yourself? I know you do more than just that.
It's sort of a subsection of personal injury, really.
Okay.
Like I do catastrophic injuries. I do brain injuries a lot. I do a lot of amputations. I do a lot of just more than a fender bender.
Right.
I also do workers' compensation.
Yes.
And then kind of whatever else is ancillary to that people need.
Yeah.
So I find myself sometimes filing a probate matter or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And Justin also practices in the Omaha area. And that's kind of how we got to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I know we're both smiling. So a couple days before today, I reached out to Justin. I was like, okay, let's talk about what we're going to talk about on the podcast. One thing I always like to do is introduce my guest and then also talk about how we know each other. And I was like, but Justin, I feel like I've always known you. And you said, oh, no, I remember the day we met.
Sure do. Yeah. That was... Well, I had a client, let's call him Mike, and yeah, he was injured. That was an amputation. Mm-hmm. I mean, above the knee amputation, really serious deal. And the insurance company was just running this guy around, just absolutely treating him terribly. So I was working on that, but he wasn't getting paid. You know, they're supposed to pay them periodically, and they just decided, no, we're not going to. So he didn't have any money for food. He had 3 kids, so he got picked up for shoplifting at Walmart. Mm-hmm. And you were the prosecutor.
Right. And the story doesn't seem so bad until you find out the outcome of what I did as a prosecutor. And like I told you, Justin, I think that I don't remember this because I must have blocked it out of my memory because I'm ashamed of, I didn't do anything to help the situation. It seems like I just made him plead to the charge because he was guilty.
No, you reduced it. It wasn't. Okay. It was. Yeah, you. See, I wanted you to just dismiss it.
Dismiss it, right? Yes.
But you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So I thought you did exactly what I would have done.
Okay. I still feel bad about. Now after dealing with and handling cases of people that are truly hurt, it makes you realize why they're doing what they do.
Yeah.
And why this man was out there stealing. And it does make me feel bad. So I feel bad for Mike, but you did give me a little bit of follow-up that it does sound like his life is going okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's whenever I finish a case and somebody's going to get a significant amount of money, what they consider life-changing money, I always sit down with them and I'm like, all right, what's your plan?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Because you can't just release somebody into the wild with 7 figures when they've never had, or 8 figures when they've never had that before. So we had a great plan for him, and he basically created himself a job, and he's out doing it now. Yeah, I still hear from him.
Yeah. And you just touched on kind of what you talked about earlier is like you're a personal injury attorney, you take these catastrophic cases, but you do more than just you're more than just a lawyer to a lot of these people.
I think so. I mean, I try to be. It's like, gosh, I've been doing this, 20 years? And I've seen a lot of things. I mean, I was on the defense side for about 10 years. Now I'm on the plaintiff side. And if you know that there's something that's a risk, I've seen what happens when people get what is to them a huge sum of money and they don't have a plan. So, of course, I mean, I'm going to intervene and say, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that, think about this. It's still their decision, of course. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's just sort of like, I've been down this road so many times that why wouldn't I tell them where the risks are?
Right. Yeah. One thing I always like to do things with people so that I can sleep at night, and know that I tried, good conscience, give them the advice that, and then what they do with it is their choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. 100%.
So let's go back 20 years or however far back you want to go. Where did it all begin?
Where did it all begin? That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Well, so I'm from a small town, south central Nebraska, population 700 people.
Yeah.
That always gives people some context because small means different things to different people. No stoplights, one store, one golf course, and 5 churches.
Yep.
That's how I usually describe it to people. And I grew up initially, in this really kind of interesting environment. So I had, my parents were actually from Bethesda,
Okay.
and they eloped and ended up on a farm in rural Nebraska. And my grandparents on my father's side, there was an electrical engineer that went to MIT, and then my grandmother was she had a master's degree in botany, and she had a master's degree in journalism, and she was the editor of a paper. And then on my mother's side, my grandfather he kind of had a hedge fund in Luxembourg and spoke I don't remember, 8 or 9 languages.
Wow.
And then my grandmother was a nurse. And so all, I thought very, very accomplished people. And so our house was sort of, I want to say
academically
centered.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with a set of encyclopedias.
That's all.
It was like play outside or read your books. That was kind of the way it was. And then my parents ended up getting divorced when I was 8 or 9, I think. And my mother married who is now my adoptive father. I call him Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of transplanted from this academic environment with my 2 sisters to this new environment where I had 2 new sisters, 2 new brothers, and they were pretty crazy about sports. And so all of a sudden I'm in this totally different environment where sports is the focus.
Yeah.
So I had kind of the best, I guess, I like to think of it, I had the best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that was great. And I think that would have been about junior high when they got married and we all moved in together.
Yeah.
So
When was the decision to go to law school? Or where'd you go to undergrad to?
Creighton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was all set to go to Wesleyan. I had visited the campus in Lincoln, loved it. I was going to run track.
Yeah.
I think I was going to play 2 sports. And I had 1 extra get out of school free day to go visit a college.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, well, why not take advantage of that? So my 2 sisters were down here in Omaha, and I thought, well, I'll go see them and hang out with them for a while. So I just had to pick a school in Omaha, and I went and visited Creighton. I thought I wasn't going to be there for more than a half an hour.
Yeah.
I was there the whole day. I met a guy named Father Tom Schlemmer, who ended up being my advisor, and I just fell in love with it. You have those moments in life when something just clicks.
Yeah.
That was one of those moments.
That's awesome.
So I ended up going to Creighton for undergrad, got degrees in psychology and English, and then went straight to Creighton Law.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really good undergrad degrees to have to go into law school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but it was honestly kind of predetermined.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't remember if it was 2nd or 3rd grade, but I do remember distinctly, I'm in the middle of class, and I raise my hand, and I'm asking this question, and I'm kind of arguing with the teacher, and she told me, she said, "You're going to end up being a lawyer someday." I thought, okay. So, yeah, just natural progression, I think.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So then where did you go after you graduated from Creighton?
I spent about a year and change in Washington, D.C. I was working for a firm during law school.
Wow.
And ended up thinking I need to get out of here and go do something else. So I got a job at a firm in D.C. Loved living there.
Yeah.
Living there was really cool. The work was absolutely soul-sucking. So I made it about a year before I decided, I can't do this
What
anymore.
were you doing?
Essentially, kicking people out of their homes.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah. We represented 2 main real estate clients, and it was just evicting people. We would go to these summary judgment hearings and just win all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really not fun. It's I remember sitting in my office and my mom calls me and she's all proud and she wants to know what I'm doing. And I didn't want to tell her.
Yeah.
Because I figured she would be ashamed. Yeah. So I made the decision to come back. Somebody at my old firm actually called me just to say hi And I said, yeah, this is not fun. And they said, well, come on back. We got a job for you here. So I ended up at Sedoro Daily Sedoro, which was probably the best place for a young lawyer to be. I mean, they let me try case after case after case immediately. It was really great. Great environment for a young litigator. And I had some great mentors there. I can name them all. It'll take a while. But, yeah, Tom Showmaker, definitely. Joe Daly, for sure. Mary Schott, great mentor. Those people really helped me the first 5 years of my practice. Yeah.
What a great knowledge to have the defense side, too, for what you're doing now.
Yeah, because with what we do, when we only see one side of it, and you don't really know what's going on the other side and what all of those people have to do, what the insurance companies require to actually take responsibility and pay a claim fairly. I get it. And it's also great, in my opinion, because, and you've been on the defense side too, like you can think more tactically. You know how things are going to go for them, so you can kind of engineer what you're going to do and maximize your benefit for your client.
So when did you decide to break free from the defense side?
Well, 2012. I can remember almost exactly what happened. My law partner now, Frank Eunice, he was at a firm that was kind of like mine. And he was totally unhappy, and I was unhappy. I wasn't at Sedoro anymore, but he said, hey, I'm going to start, like, we should start our own firm. We should go do this on our own. We should go do this together. We should go do this. And I thought, oh, that's risky. But he finally said, hey, I'm doing this whether you're coming or not. And I thought, okay. So I took all of my self-insured clients that get to pick who their lawyers are. You know, the insurance companies have all these lists. So that the list thing didn't matter. And so every single one of them came with. And so I had those clients, but I had extra time. And so I started representing injured people. And I realized I like this way better. I mean, it's just so much more fun.
It's a different client.
Totally
different level.
Yes. You actually have somebody who cares about the outcome. You get to know them on a personal level. I mean, I have clients I represented 15 years ago that were still friends. So, that's how that happened. And we've been doing it ever since.
And doing it well.
I like to think so.
So every time I have ever reached out to you with a question, which is often, you get back to me immediately, sit down, talk to me, thorough answers. Like, you've probably helped me more than anybody in becoming a good plaintiff's attorney.
Well, good. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, but one thing I really thoroughly enjoy is our conversations. They're not fluff. Like, it's just, we have really good conversations. You really think about things conceptually. And so, I just wanted to have a little conversation about that, and just what makes Justin High tick, and what are some of the things you'd like to share with listeners about, you sent me an email earlier about just thoughts, if any of that.
Sure. What makes,
that's a lot of questions.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to give you a good answer. I think where that comes from, I mean, if you think of your best teachers in your life, I mean, you and I share one, exactly who I'm talking about. Professor Mangrum was just the way he approached teaching. Like, we were just at that seminar the other day. And I don't know if I'm sure you did notice, actually. I mean, we start, when he says we're going to start, we go all the way through. There's nothing that he talks about that is really like wasted. He always has a reason for doing everything, and he works really, really hard. And I see him do that, and I'm like, well, that's the way it should be done. I've had a lot of teachers like that in my life, so I try to be like that. Like, you just think about, what's the outcome that you want? Well, what I want is for you to learn what you want to learn and be able to do it at a super high level. So I try and just give you whatever I can give you. I think what you're really asking I think what I'm really trying to say, I don't really believe in holding much back.
Mm-hmm.
You put something in front of somebody, they're either going to get it or they're not, and you always seem to get it. Like you're a really good student, so it's really enjoyable to help people who are really good students.
Yeah. That's one thing too that I've noticed about you. It's not just me that you help everyone. Like you'll have focus groups at your office, and you'll get the whole group of people, together that we're going to do a mock trial, or even just go over some facts on a case and figure out what they say. But you invite other attorneys and don't charge a dime. Like you're just so generous with your help to other attorneys in the community.
Yeah. The idea behind that is like, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity to allow somebody else to do it too. So why not?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me to hold back from helping somebody else out, I guess is the idea with that. That's why I really get a lot out of people call, like when you call or email, like I get a lot out of that. It's fun for me because I feel like I can give a little bit of myself to other people and they can use that and make it their own thing.
Yeah.
I think Nick Rowley said, I think it was him, and he said, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. I want you to be the best you can be, which I thought was great. Yeah, I remember talking to him one day, and I said, I feel like I'm up there in front of a jury, and I'm giving my best Nick Rowley impression. And he laughed, and he said, yeah, don't do that. Just, be the best that you can possibly be. That really resonated.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you probably hear 100 times, but in the moment it really clicks.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah.
One of the things you and I have talked about, or that you've impressed upon me, is being busy at 80%.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So in this day and age, especially in our profession, I think this is true of lawyers. I think it's true of doctors. I think it's true of accountants and that's sort of where you're like thought work, where we think we need to be busy working all the time, producing, working on a case, getting ready for a deposition, doing a trial, something like that. And what I have found is you can do that, but you're not really going to get better at the most efficient rate.
Right.
So what I like to do, and the goal, and I tell people this in my office, be busy up to 80% of your capacity and save 20%. Save 20% to study the thing that you're trying to learn. Save 20% to meet with the person who might have something to teach you. Save 20% to develop yourself or develop relationships with people. And that way, you'll get better a lot faster and be way farther ahead than you would if you just kept your head down and just kept grinding and grinding every single day.
Yeah.
You have to have time to reflect too.
That really struck me because I'm at a point where I could be busy we all could be busy all the time, but I was like, I've got to take a step back and like the continuing education, not going to the CLEs, but just like actually, watching some podcasts and seminars and things like that, that really, and it kind of invigorates you again, to not be so deep in your files all the time, but to just get out and take the, umbrella view of kind of legal concepts and stuff really does help. At least it did me. So yeah, completely agree. One of the terrible and wonderful things about this profession is you're never done. At what point are you done preparing for a particular case or for a particular hearing or for a particular trial? You're never really done. I can't think of a single person who says, oh yes, I over-prepared for that. Never. I've never heard anyone.
Not a lawyer.
Right.
And I think that's true of a lot of professionals.
And I think there's oftentimes, almost every single time, I'm like, I wish I would have done that differently. I think for at least me, I'm always kind of critiquing myself afterwards.
And that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But when you do that, start with what you did well.
That's
because
a good point. Yeah.
If you just look at the negative, you're gonna get blinders on, and everything's gonna be negative.
Yeah.
Start with what you did well. Reinforce that you know what you're doing. Reinforce what's working, and then think about what maybe didn't work so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things, too, that I bring people on is to kind of talk about any of the mentors that they've had. And I know you've talked about some that you had at Sodoro Daily, Sodoro.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Professor Mangrum. Is there anybody else to add to the list that you can think of?
There are many.
Yeah.
Many. One of the things that I really like about how I kind of operate, I mean, everybody's a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
If you are present and you're paying attention and you're really, like, you have that extra bandwidth to kind of listen and learn and study people, everybody's a mentor.
Yeah.
You can see something that everybody does. I mean, even my children, like, you know, my daughters, my stepdaughters, they're mentors. I see things they do and I think, well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I really like her attitude about that. And then I've got, I mean, again, a list of people that have just been instrumental in my development. You know, I had a coach. I told you this story, didn't I?
I think so.
Yeah. So I had a coach when I was in junior high and high school, and I mean, he was fantastic. He taught me that showing up and participating isn't good enough. Like, you have to give everything that you have to give, even if it's not that much.
Yeah.
Just, you don't ever want to just be average. You want to show up and give everything you have. And then I've got mentors today. A guy I work with named David. I would say his full name. I haven't asked these guys permission, but I mean, he knows who he is, and he'll probably listen to this. And yeah, he's absolutely instrumental. Just sort of like, all of the weak spots that I have are his strengths, and I just slowly absorb and absorb and absorb. He's teaching me about trials and how to conduct trials, and it's funny because his teaching style is totally different than mine.
Yeah.
You know, I put it in front of you and I say, here's what it is and here's how it works and here's what we're going to do with it, and then he's more through osmosis. We were having a conversation one day and I said, I wish you would just write this down for me and I'll memorize it and then I'll just do it. And a couple months later he said, well, do this, you know, and I did it. And he said, see, you're learning.
Yeah.
You know, I was learning things I didn't even know. That the work I do with him is really eye-opening for me. It has taken my practice just light years beyond where it ever would have been. And Pat, who might also listen to this, I don't know, I'll tell him. He's a great mentor. Every single time I feel like I've lost perspective, I can talk with him, and he just has a way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Just, you get so locked in to thinking that you know something.
Yeah.
And it's so great to have somebody just reorient you to a problem. And that's been life-changing for me, you know. And another mentor, you know, my wife, Rainey.
Yes.
She's teaching me constantly.
Yes. Shout out to her. She's an angel in so many ways.
Yes, she is. I mean, I could talk about that all day long, but I think when we met, she was like so fun and so free and just like, well, why don't we do this and why don't we do that? I was sort of locked in to thinking, well, you know, life is like this and this is what I do and this is who I am. And she showed me like a whole nother world. Yeah. It's funny. It's like, I remember we're in an airport and we were trying to get back home and our flight was delayed and I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, how long is this flight going to be delayed? And oh, what about this? And am I going to get a hotel room? And what about my kids? And, you know, and she looks at me and goes, well, Southwest is delayed. Let's go check United. And I thought, we can do that? It's like that simple change in attitude and perspective has made such a difference. So I'm grateful to all those people. I don't know where I'd be. I mean, where would you be?
And that's what I was thinking is like, we can't do this alone. We're not lawyers on an island doing this all by ourselves. No. We're not people, you know, like, and that's the whole point of this podcast. And it's just that like, it takes the whole community to help us all move forward, you know, and and you gravitate. I feel like you gravitate to the people that you're similar to. There'll be people that you come across that you'll learn something from them, but that's probably all you needed from them. And it may not even be the most positive interaction, but you learned something, you
Sure.
know. But then the people, you know, kind of like you talked about just now, the three big ones, those are the people you hold on to in your life, you know. And yeah.
I have not seen Coach Ekstrom in person for probably 25 years. But I go on this ski trip with friends of mine from back home, and every single time we're together, we always make a point to FaceTime with him.
Yeah.
It's like we know we're going to do it. It's so fun. Yeah, like,
Exactly.
so, you know, once a year we catch up with Coach Ekstrom. But, yeah. So, I don't know. It's such an interesting thing to think about. But you have to be open to receiving it.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of people, mostly the unhappy ones, that are not really paying attention and are not really getting anything out of what they're doing and the people that they're around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the first concepts of me doing this podcast was I was in the Leadership Academy for the Nebraska State Bar Association years ago, and I just remember doing this activity where they had each of us, there was probably like 20 attorneys part of this, that each of us write a list of all the people that had affected or had influenced us to that point. And I had a list of like 25, and the guy sitting next to me, who was a prosecutor, had one. And he looked over at my list and he said, "How could you have so many?" And I looked at his and I said, "How could you have so few?"
Right.
And he's not a very happy person, and he wasn't very successful in that role. And it's just, it shows, you know, but you have to recognize it, and, you know, and you have to also give back. I think it's a two-way street. So
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the more people say, you know, the more you give, the more you receive.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first heard that, I thought, that's
Cheesy.
stupid.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
But I think it, like now that I'm 46
Yeah.
and I've been at this for a long time, I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I mean, the super high level people in what the little thing that we do, the very narrow field that we're in, the super high level performers are constant givers.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey Lowe, arguably one of the best trial lawyers in the country. I mean, he's great. He gives me so much time when I have a question.
Yeah.
Even with, like, he was in the middle of a trial and still took time to answer my call the other day and walk me through what I was working on. And yeah, people like that. Nick Rowley, Keith Mitnick, Brian Panish, just all those people.
Yep. It's awesome. One of the things that you've brought up to me is the anti-lawyer. Is that what you call it?
It's what I call it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of just an idea. And the idea is pretty simple. I mean, we scare people.
Yeah.
Like, people don't like the idea of interacting with a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
There's
so many jokes about us.
Yeah, we have a terrible reputation.
Yes.
And if you think about it, this is actually something David taught me. And it's like, you have it's a culture code.
Yeah.
It's an archetype. It's a character. So when I give you the word lawyer,
Yeah.
well, probably not you because you
Yes.
are a lawyer, but if I were to call up your mom or your dad or somebody who doesn't who's not a lawyer, and I say, tell me what a lawyer is. Give me some adjectives. They would say sneaky, smarmy, sharp, wearing a suit, liar,
Yeah.
abrasive, rude, that whole list, you know. And when you show up and you're none of those things,
Yeah.
and you make it a point to show them, you know, I am none of those things, then all of the conception about that archetype, that clearly doesn't apply to you.
Right.
And so people are much more apt to accept you, really. I think that's the right word, accept you, and then help you, work with
Right.
you. So.
And it helps our clients too to be more open to us, I believe, you know.
Yeah. It's funny, this was driven home to me one day, and this is like Frank and I were just starting. I think we'd been in practice for about 2 years, and you know, we're building our firm, and we're doing all this stuff and answering our own phones, which was kind of fun. And somebody calls one day and they're like, well, we'd like to talk with a lawyer, like a consult. And I said, sure, how's tomorrow or Friday or whatever?
Yeah.
And they said, no, we want to talk to somebody today. And that day, I didn't have any appointments, so I was wearing gym clothes. I was wearing just shorts and a T-shirt and tennies or whatever. And they showed up that afternoon. And the first thing I said, I'm sorry, I'm not dressed professionally.
Yeah.
And they said to me, oh, no, we very much prefer this. We just had a meeting this morning with 2 lawyers, and they were both wearing suits, and they talked down to us, and they sounded like they were prosecutors, like they're prosecuting us, and they don't think they believed a word we said. And I thought, it's probably not really what happened. They were probably just asking pointed questions, but that's the experience that these people had.
Right.
So I always make a point. When I walk into a room, I am exactly who I am. I am nobody else. No matter what the room is, whether it's a courtroom, boardroom, office, living room, just whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's so much easier.
It is. You don't have to pretend that you're something you're not. And it's just, you don't have to waste time on all of that.
Yeah.
And I guess it kind of goes to also where you just quit caring what other people think so much. I know for me, and you may not be the same, but as a young attorney, I was very concerned about what everyone was thinking. And then you finally, I don't know if just after time or experience, but you just kind of fall away and you kind of find your own rhythm. And I just care less about what other people think.
Yeah. I don't think it was as a young lawyer. I think it was as a young person.
Yeah.
I mean, I cared what everybody thought.
Yeah.
My sort of like self-worth, how I was doing, was largely wrapped up in what other people thought of me.
Right.
And then you realize at some point, if you care what somebody thinks about you, that person has power over you.
Yeah.
Because they can just marionette you into whatever they want by giving you positive or negative feedback. So I obviously care what certain people think of me.
This is true.
Yeah, but that club that list is very short.
Right. Exactly. One of the concepts you mentioned earlier today was focus.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that apply to your practice, to daily life? What does focus have to do with things?
Well, I think I was talking about that. I mean, it's like currency. We all want it. We don't really have it. And I honestly think it's being sort of taken from us in the world that we live in now. I mean, if I have to sit down and work out a problem, there's an argument that I need to counter, or there's a brief I need to write, or there's something I need to do, I'm so much better. I mean, my clients get so much more from me when I'm completely and totally focused. And luckily, I've always been able to sort of like get in the bubble. But nowadays, gosh, it's so hard.
It is.
And you look at communication, and it comes in through your phone, your email, text, Instagram, Facebook, a bunch of apps I don't even have.
Yeah.
It seems like these days that taking our attention is sort of the stock and trade of a bunch of different companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many likes can they get? How much time can they occupy in our lives? That sort of thing. So when somebody's having a problem, somebody comes to me, and one of the first things that I sort of ask is, are you able to actually think about this? Yeah. Are you able to actually shut out all of the noise and focus on the thing that you need to work on? And, most of the time they say, oh, yeah, of course I can, And I'm like, can you really, though?
Yeah. Like,
can you really be present and actually apply your full self to this one thing?
And I feel like when I read that, it struck a chord with me, because I have been so scattered. I tell everybody I'm so busy, but I don't feel like I'm focusing on things. And when I'm doing this one thing, you're right. Like, I'm doing this one thing, but I'm also seeing my emails over here, and then my Teams chat, and then and I'm just like, it's so scattered, and I've got to figure out how to be focused. Mm-hmm. Do you have a tip, trick?
Yeah, and again, it comes from a guy that I met along the way, Terry Grennan. You know him?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah, he's an attorney, brilliant brilliant lawyer, and he's just a really funny guy.
Yeah.
And we met because I was really young.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was kind of doing this case that was way beyond my skill level at the time. I'm learning as fast as I can. And we're at a deposition, and I think I had objected to something, or I made a point about something, and he kind of leaned over and said, "Are you sure about that?" He didn't yell at me.
Yeah.
He didn't say, "That's a dumb thing for a young guy to do." He said, "Are you sure about that?" And afterwards, we kind of talked, and he explained to me, like, maybe don't do that next time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd always been sort of friends ever since. And I'd call him and ask him questions. And what he said to me, I remember I called, and I was freaking out about something, probably workload or whatever it was. And he said, "Well, what about this and what about this?" And then he asked this really important thing, and he said, "Won't that keep until tomorrow?" And I thought, yeah, it actually will. He said, "So it's not really something that you should be that worried about." It was just, he was readjusting my perspective on how important certain things were in relation to other things, Yeah. Great guy. He still practices.
Wow.
Yeah, Cassim Tierney.
Okay. I didn't know if he was local or not. And the name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Terry does I think he mostly does appellate work. He does like really complicated questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's like, he could probably
one of those lawyers now.
Yeah, he could probably be a law professor without even breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
What is your favorite aspect of being an attorney?
favorite aspect of being an attorney. Good question. Let me see if I can. There's so many things I like about it. I guess my favorite thing is it allows me to be myself and still effectuate good in the world for people, human beings that I like. Underneath that sort of definition, I guess, I mean, it's an intellectual exercise, which I like, and it's competitive, which I like. You get to win, which I like, but you also get to lose.
Yeah, which you learn.
Yep, when you lose, you learn.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also just when you handle a case like we do, it's a series of battles, and you have to understand that you might lose a battle, but it's really about the war.
Yeah.
The other thing I really love about it is the people, like my clients. I really get to know my clients, and I really am invested in their outcomes. I really care about them, and that makes me feel good to be able to deliver them the result that they want, or better than they wanted, hopefully. I mean, you know what that's like. And to see the change from the day you meet them to the day you kind of let them go. That's really fulfilling. That one of the bittersweet things about this job is people meet you at their absolute worst. Nobody calls me because they're having a great day.
Right.
They were just in a catastrophic accident. Something happened to them. They lost a loved one. They're being treated horribly by an insurance company or something. And I really like being able to say, okay, I know what to do. I've been there before. We've been down this road 100 times. I know what to do. So, and give them that sort of peace of mind, I guess. Yeah.
The one thing that I always find challenging explaining to my clients is the length of time that it takes to get justice on some of these cases. Do you have any advice on how you deal with clients that have those expectations?
Yeah, first of all, I'm very direct and honest with them. When they say, well, how long is this going to take? The answer is, I don't know. It depends. And it depends is the worst answer any lawyer can ever give, ever. Of course it depends. It depends on what. And so I will sort out, it depends on whether or not they're going to contest liability, whether or not they're going to accept your initial offer, whether or not they're actually going to make a settlement offer at mediation that makes sense to you, whether or not we have to go to trial. And really the core thing that I explain to people is control what you can actually control. Forget about the rest. David always tells me when I start worrying about a defense, or I worry about this fact, or I worry about what they're going to do. He always says, that's their story. Don't worry about their story. Tell your story. Do your thing. And so when I meet my clients and they ask that question, how long is this going to take? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But here's what we're going to do.
Right.
We're going to make sure that you're prepared. We're going to make sure that all the evidence that we can get and need is locked down, ready to go. We're going to make sure that we're ready for trial. So I always tell people that, like, we just worry about trial.
Yeah.
If they want to throw in the towel beforehand and they want to pay you what you think the case is worth and you want to take it, great, go for it. But my job, my focus is getting ready for trial, so that on the first day of trial, I'm not nervous, not scared. I'm ready.
Your case.
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, if you can't do that, then you're not going to be successful. If, like, the defense lawyers in this town are very sharp, the defense lawyers that I practice with are very, very smart people, and if they think that you aren't going to be able to get through a trial, they're not going to take your case. They're not going to take your case seriously at all.
Yeah. That's one of the things that you've really helped me focus on too, is even at the beginning of the case, thinking about trial, you know, because you're building that whole case from the beginning to trial being the finish line.
Yep.
Yeah. And speaking of finish lines, one of the things that I wanted to make sure and get in is, and one of the ways that you and Rainey have both inspired me throughout the years, is just you guys' passion for fitness and being active human beings. And I love it. Do you want to talk about any of that?
Sure.
Okay.
I can talk about that all day long. So it's funny. This is one of my favorite stories. So Rainey and I, when we first met, we were going to go on a date, and I had a bike. I mean, I rode my bike. I didn't ride it like her.
Yeah.
So she says, okay, let's have dinner on this night or whatever. And she said, I might be tired. I'm doing 75 that day. Mm-hmm. And I thought, 75 what?
Yeah.
And we were talking about riding a bike, and I'm like, highway 75? 75 minutes? Yeah. Like, she can't be talking about miles. Like, there's no way she's going to ride 75 miles. Sure enough.
She did.
And she was like, hey, do you want to jump in? And I thought, and I remember it was like, I will pass on that. But it was funny because riding a bike to me was riding as fast as you can for an hour.
Yeah. And
then being done. And yeah, she taught me this whole different way of doing everything. Like, you see the Tour de France guys?
Yes.
I would do that. The difference is I can't do it like them for 100 miles.
Right.
I can go 22 miles an hour for an hour at best. And anyway, so yeah, she taught me this whole nother side to cycling I never even knew was there. And now we're on a team. We have Enhance Cycling. We're going to have a race this weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's
Where
a gravel
at?
race. In Ashland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But by the time this comes out, we'll be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Eiton's a good buddy of mine. He's the president. He's really taken over that thing and made it something awesome. And I think with that particular thing, one of our favorite things to do is what she did for me. Because if she would have asked me, will you ever be able to ride 75 miles, I would have said no. Yeah. Within a month or two of us being together, she had me riding 100 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. And we do that with all sorts of people.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guys, and I don't have permission to say, but Jay, he'll know exactly who it is. The first time we rode together, I think he made it probably like 25 miles, and then he started puking.
Yeah.
And later that year, he finished Gravel World, 75 miles, it's a hard 75 miles, and he did great, you know. So we like taking people who think they can't do a thing, and then showing them that they can.
And so non-judgmental, non-judgmental, and so inclusive. You guys are just wonderful.
Yeah, I think anybody has the potential to, everybody can do more than they think.
Yeah.
It's just putting them in the right environment, giving them the right opportunity to prove it to themselves. I think that's true of lawyers too. Yeah. I mean, I talk to lawyers, and there are people that say to me, well, I could never do that. And I immediately say, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. The only thing that's stopping you is experience and the opportunity. Just, you know, go do it.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, another finish line we're coming across is the end of this podcast.
Yeah, that was quick. You
I
said it
know.
would be quick.
I told you. It goes by so fast. And we could talk for hours more, but
Sure.
unfortunately we don't have it. But thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for asking me.
Yeah, this means a lot. I'm sure my listeners learned a lot. And yeah, I appreciate your friendship over the years, and
Same.
I'm sure we'll stay connected.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you everyone that tuned into this episode of Grateful by Lady Law. As always, you can find us where you can find your favorite podcast. So keep listening. Thank you.